Here we go then, race number 23 this weekend at Warden Law. It is the Senior Rotax final, and the grid looks like this. Kai Hunter is on an all DHR front row. Alongside him on P2 is Matthew Higgins. Lewis Gilbert has been on the pace this weekend for Craft Motorsport, starts on row 2 alongside Teddy Pritchard-Williams for MLC Motorsport. Guy Cunnington, always a factor in these Senior Rotax races, starts on row 3 alongside Archie Walker.
Row number 4, we'll see James Lowther and Sean Butcher go from that row. They can really certainly fight their way through the field in this one. Tristan Rennie and Angus Scrivener on the top 10 on row 5. Harry Linden and Will Ellswood round out row number 6.
Piers Bullock-Carter goes from row 7 alongside Jack Lilly. David Letnert and Neo Clark start on row 8. George Donald and William Pemble are on row 9. George Hunter and Alex Moody complete the top 20 on row 10. Max Kettle and Alexander Cull go from row 11. Dylan Briley and Jack Collins start on row 12.
Danny Shields from Alexander Adams-Acton, from John Brown and Jude Fernahoe, Tyler Harris, James Jackson, Jai Lawrence, Alex Duncan, Jeremy Pirelli and George Holbrook as the karts make their way out of the final corner and to the tram line. Oh, it's a false start.
Oh, of course.
We had to try and get that one out quickly. But they had a false start. They heard it. Yeah, they said, oh, he's panicking, quickly, false start it. Oh, dear me.
What that does do is gives us an opportunity just to tune in with the championship situation.
Yeah, because Kai Hunter at the moment leads it, 645 points. He's extended it just a small amount from Matthew Higgins there with 632. That's still not a significant amount of points, 13 to be precise. So, you know, the battle's still on between these two. And right now, they both start on the front row. So this is Higgins', chance here to try and attack his teammate and best mate out on circuit as well.
But it's a fast turn one, and as I say, it gets all a bit tight as they go through Brian's Bend. You've got to be careful here. If you're the two DHR boys, there's a lot of risk in the next minute or so. Apologies for some of the technical issues that we're having here today.
Just, yeah, the Wi-Fi code needs, the router needs resetting. There we go then, into the tram lines. Are we going green this time? Yes, we are. Down in towards turn 1, and it is Hunter versus Higgins. Higgins all the way around the outside here. Can he hold on to it, or is he going to get cut onto the grass? I don't think he did get cut onto the grass. Who's leading the way on this one? I can't quite see. I think it's Hunter who's leading the way. Higgins still there in second, but crucially, a good getaway for the two teammates.
And down the inside went the number 4 of Matthew Higgins, in trouble for Kai Hunter. He's being forced to the outside line through Senna 1, has lost a number of positions there. Well, this is something we've not seen so far this weekend at Warden Law. Kai Hunter is going to have to get his overtaking shoes on to get back to the front. It was a big move down the inside into St. John's by Matthew Higgins. Gives him the lead of this race, all of them filing through. Lots going on, of course, in the second half of this order. A big order. Full complement of 34 karts, round to complete lap number 1. It's Matthew Higgins leading by half a second from Lewis Gilbert, as expected as well. Teddy Pritchard-Williams on the move, started 4th up to 3rd. Great start as well for Guy Cunnington. Got to say, for Kai Hunter, that was a real heart-in-mouth moment of how many places was he going to lose. He's done really well there to hold in 5th place.
Yeah, it really is. And again, to anyone watching at home, we are struggling with the 4G connection here, so there may be a bit jumpy on the broadcast, but for here, now at Warden Law, it is still game on here in Senior Rotax as they make their way back up the hill towards Gasworks. Defensive goes Guy Cunnington in towards Gasworks, and Kai Hunter is still fighting there as well. Teddy Pritchard-Williams also getting involved, but Kai Hunter, you can see both of them have got past Teddy Pritchard-Williams and have moved up into 3rd and 4th place now. Hunter is on the charge once more, but that's a lot of real estate they've got between themselves and Lewis Gilbert, who's just set the fastest lap in 2nd place.
Yeah, and they know that Lewis Gilbert is particularly strong in the middle of the races so far this weekend. I think Teddy Pritchard-Williams has got his eyes looking backwards. He seems to be quite early in this race wanting to defend his spot. Having said that, there's a move down the inside for 6th place.
And there's
a problem on the last corner. That is the number 13 in trouble. That's Alexander Cole, one of the Guy Cunnington racing drivers. looking pretty much done for this race. That's a real shame. But Matthew Higgins continues to lead. 12.5 minutes remaining on the clock. But we're getting into that phase of the race, Anthony, where Lewis Gilbert has tended to put the afterburners on. He is the fastest driver on circuit at the moment, 50.87. We've seen Kai Hunter be able to deal with this phase of the race so far in the heats, in the pre-final early on today. Can Matthew Higgins do the same?
Yeah, no, exactly that. Well, I mean, Guy Cunnington will certainly want to go with Kai Hunter here because he wants to attack Lewis Gilbert right now, because Gilbert's just put himself up to third in the championship standings. He separates himself by 1 point from Guy Cunnington as well. They're third and fourth in the championship. So again, they're still fighting for these seeded numbers. Yes, okay, they may not have the points to get up to the top battle for the championship battle, but they are still fighting for that seeded number, and the lower the number you can go, the better you are. So, yeah, they still need to sort that one out. Kai Hunter, though, still working on it, extending what he needs. Well, he's 705 points at the moment. He still leads the championship battle from Matthew Higgins. Higgins, though, is doing everything he can to close that battle. He's got 697 now going into this final. It's all down to what Kai Hunter can do. Hunter now has sorted himself out. He's actually broken away from Guy Cunnington. He set the fastest lap of the race, and look at that. He's closed right in on Gilbert, and Gilbert's going to go for the move. Gilbert down the inside through Senna 2, and Gilbert takes the lead of the race. And now Hunter, I think, has actually also managed to get past as well. I think Higgins is down into third.
Yeah.
I think Higgins has fallen 2 positions now.
Yeah, and that's what can happen around that part of the course, that you get offline and it's difficult to get back into the train. 11 minutes to go. And once again, it's the top two that we've seen for most of the racing this weekend in Senior Rotax. The difference is they're the other way round. Gilbert ahead of Hunter this time. There'll be a bit of team tactics to try and play as well, because, I mean, this is where the championship scenario does get interesting, because from a team front purely in the DHR tent, they would love to see Kai Hunter get down the inside, overtake Lewis Gilbert cleanly, but also offer the opportunity for Higgins to get through as well and be running 1-2 on the road. From a personal perspective, I think there's probably a good factor of Hunter wanted to see that as well, to have his mate on his rear tail and a 1-2 for the good pals home. But from a championship perspective, that's not what he wants. He wants that gap to be as big as possible before they go to PFI. Let's see how this plays out.
It's like the biggest Achilles heel ever, isn't it? You got to have that. I really don't want you, but I really do want you as well. But right now, Hunter's not been able to get the move done on Gilbert, and I'm thinking that's because he just wants to try and work with Gilbert to try and break away. That's not happened, though, because Higgins is still right there. And if anything, I think Guy Cunnington and Teddy Pritchard-Williams are starting to close back in. Still 9.5 minutes to go on this one. Oh, no. And there's a coming together between the two of them. And now Higgins retakes the lead. So that was Kai Hunter looking to the inside there through Senna 1. Now he goes wheel to wheel with Guy Cunnington. Cunnington can't get the move done, can't capitalise on it. But Kai Hunter, big moment there, and that nose cone has got a lot of damage to it, and it may have even dropped. It
may well have dropped. We'll find out in due course. That I've got to say, that was very well read by Matthew Higgins. He just held off. He didn't absolutely barrel it into Senna 1 as he would, well, he's definitely going to do on this lap, and he knew the door was going to open to just go around the outside. As you say, you cannot count out Guy Cunnington, former champion, of course. He's been a bit quiet this weekend, but he's always been there in the top 5. This is just the kind of race that Guy Cunnington could come to the fore. You also do not count out James Lowther, another driver who knows this place very, very well, has been quietly getting on with his work, now finds himself up in 5th.
Yeah, I'm seeing some big changes in the order of the championship right now. Hunter's still there in first from Higgins. Gilbert's there in third from Cunnington. Sean Butcher has moved up into 5th at the expense of Archie Walker, who's gone down to 6th. Teddy Pritchard-Williams there in 7th, joint on points with Pearson Bullock Carter. It couldn't be closer going into the final round. Still 8 minutes to go of this one, and Higgins leads the way. Hunter, though, with the fastest lap of the race, is looking to the inside there with James Lowther and Guy Cunnington. Not able to get it done through turn number 1, stays behind. Now, Kai Hunter, he's already tried it once on Gilbert. Gilbert knows that. Is he going to try it again?
What's even crazy is that we're not even in the second half of this race.
We're not even in the second. Yes,
he is going to go down the inside. There is more space this time, and Gilbert's going to try and fight it through Senna 2, but this time through goes Kai Hunter into P2. Now we've got a DHR for the first time since the start of the race. 1-2 at the front of the field. What can they do? 7.5 minutes to go. I think that was side by side involving Teddy Pritchard-Williams. I'm keeping an eye on James Lowther there. He is going through.
Kai Hunter, 5-second time penalty for the move on Lewis Gilbert a few laps ago, and you can see the body language there. Hand up in the air going, what was that for? But Kai Hunter now needs to focus. Kai Hunter needs to catch up to Higgins. He needs to see if he can try and get past Higgins and open up a gap. He's still got 7 minutes to do that. But Kai Hunter, the world is against him right now, again, for the championship. He needs to push as hard as he possibly can right now.
Now, here's a real quandary, because we were talking about the teammate aspect, the best mates aspect, the championship rivals aspect. Depending on which way you look at it, there's a potential team game to be played here. And here it comes, down the inside. There goes Kai Hunter. What does Matthew Higgins do now? Does he start being proper rear gunner? Do they try and elongate that gap out? How do they play this?
Well, I mean, if I was Higgins, I would be pushing with Hunter. Open up the gap just a little bit, knowing that he's still going to get a 5-second time penalty. Or, if anything, try keep him there. You know, I know he's his mate, but they're still fighting for a championship. Another query you've got to bring in. Kai Hunter could have a drop nose. That could be 10 seconds he's getting at the end of this race. Kai Hunter, honestly, he's got the world against him right now at his home circuit. He needs to open up this gap as much as he possibly can. Gilbert, though, is going to go on the attack on Matthew Higgins, and Gilbert will not let Kai Hunter get away.
No, he won't at all, as he's been pushing him all the way through this weekend. Position change confirmed on the timing tower. Gilbert ahead of Higgins. I'm going to mention him again. James Lowther there in 4th place has got past Guy Cunnington, who's also lost a spot to Teddy Pritchard-Williams in recent laps. Just under 6 minutes to go, plus 1 lap, 0.36 of a second is the gap between Hunter and Gilbert at the front of the order. Sean Butcher has now got past Guy Cunnington. It's not going the way of the seed number 3 driver at the moment. It's got Jack Lilly's had a good performance so far. He's up 6 places in this race so far, up to 8th. It's still all to play for in the top 10.
It really is now. 5 minutes to go in this race. Hunter with the fastest lap of the race as well, still remember. 50.34. He's got some pace out there with him leading the way. 710 championship points to his name going into the final round at PFI in a few weeks' time. They're still all against Kai Hunter here, though. Gilbert starting to close in. Right, look further back in the middle of the field as well, because there are still some big movers happening here. Jack Lilly up into 8th place as well. He's having a good run there. Now 7 positions gained. Same with Jai Lawrence, also gaining more positions. But Lewis Gilbert now with the fastest lap of the race. Gilbert starting to close in once more. This race is far from over. 4.5 minutes plus that 1 lap. Gilbert checks over the shoulder, can still see Higgins is there. Again, I just can't call this one right now. I mean, James Lowther, he's looking like a threat. You called it earlier on there, Andrew. He is starting to close in on these top 3.
It is indeed 4.25 minutes to go. You're watching live coverage of the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. We're into the final third of the Senior Rotax final. This championship, of course, will roll on to PF International in a month's time. 4 minutes on the clock for Kai Hunter. What must be going through his mind? He's had a perfect weekend through the heats, through the pre-final. He's leading on the road, but it is not going his way. He's already got, we've had this through on our timing screens, a 5-second penalty. There could potentially be more if that, we're just trying to see how is the nose looking. It's questionable at the moment, but he started this weekend with a 1-point lead. It has been up to 10 points after the intermediate classification. That was his main objective this weekend, to try and use the home field advantage, grow this lead, but it could all be going away in the last 3.25 minutes.
Certainly could be. Not much time left in this race. Here we go then. Cross the line, everyone tucking in as much as they possibly can. The top 10 still separated by not much at all. 5 seconds separates the top 10, which means for Kai Hunter, he would drop all the way back to P10 in this race. He is not able to open up the gap as much as he'd like. And with Gilbert closing in, again, this is just, it's going to be the longest 2.5 minutes for Kai Hunter. This is going to be the longest championship. Caught up with him over the course of this weekend, and you know, Kai Hunter, he's back-to-back Grand Prix champion at Kart Masters. He is several Rotax O-Plate champion as well. It's just coming down to these championships, and these last 3 rounds always been a tough fight for him, and this year is just, it's the same story. It's the same story for him, but he just needs to keep his head down, focus, manage everything he needs, and bring it all to PFI in a few weeks' time.
Which is, of course, a place that he's got a very good record round as an individual circuit. So he's got to remember that it's not all hope lost, not at all. Just a couple of drives further down the order to note. Will Ellswood has got past Tristan Rennie for 9th place. Good drive as well from Jai Lawrence, up 13 places at the moment. He's into the top 20. 2 minutes to go. Is there another one of those Lewis Gilbert attacks? Not all of them have quite hit so far this weekend on Kai Hunter, but this is what we've seen. Again, I go back to the final heat yesterday. Gilbert just starts to turn the screw on Kai Hunter. What has he got in response? What has Matthew Higgins got in response as well?
And there's a question in the chat. Could Kai drop this round? He has to drop his worst one, but his worst one would have been Glanny Gore with a 13th. Right now, he would only drop to 10th. It wouldn't be his worst. Nope. He would not be able to drop this round. It would all go down to PFI.
In terms of championship scores as well, he's also got a pre-final score from Glanny Gore's that is not 13th, ideal, was down around 30th. So, yeah, it's... In theory, yes, he could drop it, but he would need a very good weekend at PF International for that to come into play. It's still very much in the balance, this title picture. Lewis Gilbert could be on to gain a big haul of points as well in his fight for at least 2nd place with Matthew Higgins. 45 seconds to go. This has been a fascinating Senior Rotax weekend, but I'm going to be honest, Anthony, I did not expect it in the final to play out like this.
No, this is a long one. Kai Hunter again retakes the fastest lap of the race on that last one, 50.27. But again, it's just not enough to drop the rest of this pack right now. They're not attacking him, but they're not dropping behind him. You know, they're just staying right there. Lewis Gilbert, though, looks like he's going to go for a move here. He's close right in now, and going on to these dying last laps. You still want to get a race win. He is going to get a race win.
You do.
But does he want to do it actually on track, just not on paper afterwards?
I think the smart thing is just to sit it. We've seen this at the very top of motorsport in previous years. You know, it's that extra points gain that you get for winning over. You know, 1st to 2nd, the gap in points is bigger than the 2nd to 3rd gap. He's got to remember that, because he's still got a very good mathematical chance. Last lap board out then. Kai Hunter starts the last lap in the lead on the road, but has a 5-second penalty. And Lewis Gilbert has got a big gap now over Matthew Higgins in 3rd. James Lowther, can he get through? Well, at the moment, he is going to inherit a 3rd place, isn't he? Because he's within that 5 seconds for Kai Hunter. Must be some quite strange emotions going through the minds of these drivers at the moment, but we're through Senna 2 into the last half of the last lap, Anthony.
We certainly are. Not many corners to go, and at the moment Matthew Higgins is the only driver really under pressure. James Lowther is doing everything he can to potentially get away with a P2 here as Higgins goes defensive. Now Lowther will get the switchback as they go wheel to wheel now in towards the horseshoe, but Lowther cannot get the move done. Higgins will hold on to 3rd place on track, but he'll inherit 2nd place as the checker flag goes out. Another 5-second time penalty goes out, but it goes to Kai Hunter on track, but he will receive that 5-second time penalty. Lewis Gilbert celebrates across the line as he will inherit the race lead from Matthew Higgins and James Lowther.
Very good run for Lewis Gilbert. He's been cool and calm all weekend. And, well, at least provisionally, he will be the winner in Senior Rotax. To note, you can see it there on the Digi flag, the number 41, that's James Jackson with a 5-second penalty. Where was James? He's in 28th place, so unfortunately not the best of days for James there. What a race, what a Senior Rotax final, and I'm sure the discussion is not done. They'll roll on to PF International in October for their season finale. For what it's worth at the moment, here is your virtual championship scores. These will change once penalties are applied. Hunter on 710, Higgins 692, Gilbert 687, Cunnington 682, Butcher 645. Kai Hunter On the road, P1, but remember, has that 5-second penalty, so shuffle everybody down to, I think, Will Ellswood in 9th. They all go up 1. So Lewis Gilbert, P1, Matthew Higgins 2nd. Great result for James Lowther. He's another one of the home favourites here in this part of the world, and finishes there in 3rd. Teddy Pritchard-Williams can be happy with his work this weekend with a top 5 there in the MLC Motorsport entry. Great race as well from Jack Lilly. Fought hard, gained 8 positions from his grid slot there in the number 33 for Sam Pollitt Racing. Sean Butcher in the top 10 once again for KR Sport. Guy Cunnington in the first half of that race looked poised to pick up any spoils of war, but in the end finishes in 8th place. Might be a bit disappointed with that. Will Ellswood put in a shift towards the end of that race as well, finishes 9th. Tristan Rennie, 5.33 back from Kai Hunter, is the first of those drivers on your screen who's, at least for now, the championship position, the race position won't change, and is there in 10th place. David Ioletner finishes in 11th place. Harry Linden, another one of our DHR drivers, finishes there in 12th. Pearson Bullock Carter, more solid points for him, and Jack's Motorsports in 13th. And Angus Scrivener in 14th. Alex Moody finishes inside the top 15 on the road. William Pemble 16th. Super job by Jai Lawrence for Project 1 Racing. From the back of the field, finishes 17th. George Donald 18th. Alexander Adams Acton recovers back from difficulties in the pre-final and finishes inside the top 20, which is completed by Jack Collins. Tyler Harris, moving up to seniors this weekend, has put a really good shift in for MLC Motorsport, finishes P21. A couple of Scots next up. Alex Duncan ahead of John Brown, 22nd and 23rd. George Hunter finishes 24th. Jude Fernahoe for JDR finishes inside the top 25. Danny Shields is in 26th place ahead of Max Kettle in 27th. James Jackson picked up a penalty late on there, finishes 28th on the road. Dylan Briley 29th. 3 retirements from those who started the Senior Rotax final: Neo Clark, Archie Walker and Alexander Cole. And unfortunately 2 DNSs for Jamie Pirelli and George Holbrook.
Thank you very much. Yes, we're back here as the rain is continuing to fall. Lewis Gilbert, P2 on track with you, inheriting the win after the 5-second in race time penalty for Kai Hunter on that one. Certainly a tough fight, but what did you make of that one?
It was a brilliant race from us. Obviously we seen the penalty was for Kai, so there was no point fighting for the win because we knew we hadn't it in the bag. So it was a risk minimal win for us, and it was great. Again, this is our 3rd win in 3 years at Warden Law, so I think if we've been pretty unbeatable, so it's been brilliant, really amazing.
Honestly, a tough fight all the way throughout. The championship ends at PFI in a few weeks' time. Are you feeling ready for it? Because again, PFI is always a challenge for a lot of drivers, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. PFI is a big challenge for everybody now, and I think it'll be very close. And I think it's good for us to have a bit of momentum with 2 wins in the last 2 rounds. So I think we're going into PF with a strong mindset.
Yeah, exactly that. The championship's not over yet, and we'll see you at PFI. Well done, Lewis.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Excellent stuff there. Let's jump into the man who finished 3rd on track, but 2nd at the end of that one. Come a bit close to me. Mate, Matthew Higgins, that was a fight that you had on your hands. You were leading some points of that one, dropping back 2nd, 3rd, all of that. It was a race, wasn't it, that one?
Yeah, it was a proper race. I mean, at least for the first half, it went a bit stagnant towards the end, but yeah, it was a good race, hard.
Yeah. The championship couldn't be any closer, could it, between yourself and your teammate Kai Hunter, but the world seems to be against him right now. What does this mean for you going into PFI?
I mean, with drops, he has got quite a good lead, to be fair. So yeah, just got to hope for the best, go and try to get as many points as we can. Still yet to have a 65. I was hoping it was going to change this weekend, but I think with the tyre disadvantage, it made it very difficult. But yeah, we got 2nd in the end, 3rd on the road. But yeah, shame for Kai, but also it does benefit us a little bit, but not the way we want it.
No, exactly that, but still a good result, and you can enjoy the podium a little bit later on. But congratulations on that one, well done.
Cheers, thank you.
We now turn our attention to the Senior Rotax final, and again, it couldn't be any closer. 1 in the championship and 2 out on track as well. It all falls down to PFI, but please welcome onto the podium. He missed out on his post-race interview, but he'll get the podium. Please welcome the number 8, James Lowther. Second place again after 19 laps of racing, just 0.8 of a second behind our race winner, and certainly looking very close in the championship fight as well. Please welcome onto the podium for Dan Holland Racing, the number 4, Matthew Higgins. Well done, Matthew, always with a cheeky smile on his face. It's either celebrating or he's got gas. He's got a smart haircut though, I'll give him that. I do say that every week. It's because it's true, mate. It's because it's true. Right, on to our race winner. After 19 laps of racing, a tough-fought battle, but it goes his way. The Diamond of Dalry for Craft Motorsport, the number 29 from Scotland, Lewis Gilbert. And please welcome onto the podium as well as winning mechanic, Luke Hughes. He has got a middle name, but I didn't want to say it.